If you look at our history, we have had movements like this throughout our history. We've had this kind of political fighting throughout our history. It's the nature of our democratic system. One of the problems that I'm having with all of it right now is that there is a certain undercurrent of thought that is not helpful. When people want to attack the president, attack him. Presidents are used to being attacked, but let's not go down low. Let's not go down and start saying...
Well, let me give you one example of that, because Newt Gingrich, former Speaker of the House, has made some references to a book that's out called The Roots of Obama's Rage. And this is in part what he had to say. I'll put it up on the screen to the National Review. What if Obama is so outside our comprehension that only if you understand Kenyan anti-colonial behavior can you begin to piece together his actions? That is the most accurate predictive model for his behavior. This is a person who is fundamentally out of touch with how the world works, who happened to have played a wonderful con, as a result of which he is now president. What is this?
I would just tell my fellow Americans, think carefully about what was just said. Think carefully about some of the stuff that is coming across the blogs and the airways. Let's make a couple of points. One, the president was born in the United States of America. Let's get rid of that one. Let's get rid of the birther thing. Let's attack him on policy, not nonsense. Next, he is a Christian. He is not a Muslim. 20% of the people say he is a Muslim. 80% apparently do not believe he's a Muslim.
31% of Republicans say he's a Muslim.
Well, surprise, surprise. But I bet you $1 if the unemployment rate was not 9.6, but it was down to 4%, then you would find only 5% thinking he's Muslim. So they're attacking the president on this line. But he is not a Muslim. He is a Christian. And I think we have to be careful when we take things like Dinesh D'Souza's book, which is the source of all of this, and suggest that somehow the president of the United States is channeling his dead father through some Kenyan spirits. This doesn't make any sense. Mr. Gingrich does these things from time to time with a big, bold statement. He did it with Sotomayor. She's a reverse racist. He did it with Elena Kagan. She ought to she ought to be taken off the nomination for Supreme Court Justice. And he does it occasionally to make news and to also stir up dust, kind of like the...
Well, what is this doing, General, the party, in your view?
I think it may appeal to certain elements of the party. It may appeal to the fringe elements of the party. But I don't think it appeals to all Republicans, and I don't think it appeals to the whole country. This kind of chatter, he's a Kenyan channeler and all this sort of stuff, makes a lot of news. And you will find that Governor Powell and people on the right side of the political spectrum, along with the Tea Party movement, really are getting a lot of attention, a lot of news, and they're making a lot of noise, and they're making a lot of chatter throughout our political system. And that's fine, that's good. But I don't think anybody should grab that and think that's the entire country.